Get out of your mind and into your life. Welcome back to Bookwise, a channel that shares knowledge for comprehensive self-development through books. Today, I am excited to share with you a meaningful and useful book titled Get Out of Your Mind and Into Your Life by the famous psychologist Dr. Stephen Hayes. Have you ever wondered why, when standing near the edge of a mountain or on the edge of a tall building and looking down, your legs start to tremble and you feel a pulling force, almost as if something is trying to pull you down? However, cats don't fear these situations as we do. They walk casually on narrow, precarious walls without trembling, or when a dog is kicked painfully by someone, it will yelp and run away. The next time it meets the person who kicked it, it will avoid them. But when it's not hurt, has food and a place to stay, the dog is happy. It never holds on to anger for a month just because of the previous kick. But humans are different. We can remain sad for many days or even suffer for years because of past events. Imagine a person who has the opportunity to visit a beautiful West Beach one evening as the sun sets. It's a breathtaking sight. However, the person's loved one passed away just the week before. How do you think they would feel? In reality, many people in this situation would struggle to feel joy. The truth is, no matter how beautiful the external circumstances are, humans can still experience pain, sadness, and anxiety. So, why is this the case? Why do we experience fear and sorrow throughout the many years of our lives? The author of this book, Dr. Stephen Hayes, says there's a secret you need to know. Other people are suffering just like you are. We all suffer. Every human being, if they don't die early, has already felt or will feel the heartbreaking pain of losing a loved one or experiencing physical suffering. Everyone will feel sadness, disappointment, anxiety, fear, and confusion. We all have moments of embarrassment, shame, or regret. Each person carries painful, unspoken secrets. We often wear masks of happiness, pretending everything is fine, that life is smooth. But the reality is not like that, and can never be like that. Being human, we feel pain far greater than any other creature on this planet. The extent of this pain cannot be measured in numbers. So, what makes us suffer more than all the other animals on Earth? The answer is language. Humans have language, which gives us the ability to think and make countless associations based on those thoughts. Thinking can help us solve many external problems. But when you use thoughts to deal with inner turmoil, many problems arise. Today, this book will show you a very useful way to step out of the quagmire of suffering. This is also the famous psychological therapy called acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. The author of this book, Dr. Stephen Hayes, is the founder of ACT and the foundation of contextual behavioral science. He's also a professor who has spent his life mentoring doctoral students in the Department of Psychology at the University of Nevada, as well as being the lifelong president of the International Contextual Behavioral Science Association and the president of the American Behavioral Analysis Association. He has published nearly 600 scientific papers and authored 44 books. He has poured his heart into this book to share ACT in its simplest form, helping people heal by learning to separate themselves from language and the control of the mind, thus living happily, freely, and mastering their own destiny. Now, let's dive into the insights shared in this book. Part 1. Why the mind leads you deeper into suffering. According to the author, humans often face two types of pain. The first is direct pain, such as when you are sick or in physical pain. The second is a hindering pain caused by suffering, which means the pain continues to haunt and cause lingering distress after an event has occurred. For example, when someone loses a loved one, many people cannot return to a state of happiness because they believe that feeling happy would be betraying the deceased. How could I be happy when the person is no longer here? I can't do that. This is entirely different from animals, which means humans not only suffer but also face obstacles caused by that pain. In general, suffering is tied to both the past and the future. The pain has already happened, and you continue to endure it. Or you feel anxious and fearful about the pain that may occur in the future. This is the mechanism of suffering. When suffering occurs, people naturally want to try to extinguish it, to escape from it. But how can one stop suffering? Most people only know how to use their thoughts and language to manage and control themselves in the face of suffering. Think for a moment. When you're sad, how do you deal with it? Some people reassure themselves with phrases like, "I'm fine, everything will be okay." Others shift their focus to something else. Some people push the pain aside by throwing themselves into work and future goals. Some seek entertainment, go traveling, shopping, eating, or having fun. Others turn to alcohol, drugs, or substances to numb themselves. Some find comfort from friends, family, or engage in physical activities to relieve stress, like boxing or extreme sports. All of these methods, even though they may seem healthy, still operate under the control of the mind. Once you use your thoughts to deal with anxiety and pain, they remain present. You can only temporarily soothe the pain. You will spend your life trying to control yourself, suppressing your thoughts by constantly trying to forget the past and worrying about the future. But you need to understand that language and thought operate in a similar way to suffering. They also look to the past and focus on the future in three ways: thinking about what is coming, planning, evaluating, and comparing past results. These three actions are what language is continuously doing in our minds. If you use your mind to deal with your inner world, it's like you're engaging in a tug-of-war with a monster, one that has been created by your own experiences and thoughts in your brain. It understands the deep fears within you and knows your desires and cravings. How can you win against it when it is always stronger than you? Every time we suppress our thoughts, we only stimulate more thinking and emotions. It's like when you're standing on the edge of a cliff and telling yourself not to step forward, yet a part of your body wants to move closer. In reality, this is a behavioral tendency and a cognitive trap that makes you resist doing something, yet you are more likely to do it. The more you focus on something, the stronger the bond with it becomes. In the end, when you fall into the trap of thought, it becomes harder to break free. Therefore, the only thing you need to do is to let go. Stop engaging in this tug-of-war. The prerequisite to ending your suffering is to stop trying to control yourself. Detach from language, jump out of the thought battle, and drop the rope of this tug-of-war. This is the reason why we need to escape the mind to truly master our lives. Part 2. To separate yourself from language and master your life, the author recommends 3 things. The first thing you need to do is to be ready to accept that avoiding pain is futile. After that, you need to tell yourself a powerful statement. I deeply empathize with myself for having made an effort to face these pains and difficulties. Don't blame yourself, don't curse yourself, Why was I so foolish? Why do I keep making mistakes? Give deep empathy to the person you were yesterday, the one who lived in pain and tried to control every bit of suffering. Once you've completed these 2 steps, you can move on to the hardest part, letting go of control. But please remember, the hardest thing is also the simplest. Everything at a higher level shares one characteristic. It is both hard and simple. Just like Buddha spoke of Buddha nature, and Laozi spoke of the Tao, all these things are difficult yet simple. For example, the state of relaxation is the best state for a person. But achieving this state is not easy when everyone is tense, holding on tightly and suppressing both their emotions and their bodies. In fact, relaxation is one of the easiest things to do, as you don't need to seek external conditions to achieve it. At this very moment, you can relax. Therefore, letting go of control is difficult but also simple. You need to believe that you can truly do it. To support this entire process, the author introduces us to acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT. The first step in this therapy is acceptance and active acceptance. What does acceptance and active mean? Previously, when we heard the word active, we often thought it meant something without negative energy, that we must be strong, healthy, and optimistic. But in reality, thinking this way can produce negative energy. Trying to stay positive by saying, I'm fine, I'm optimistic, I won't be angry, I'm not worried, I'm at peace, can cause the person who says this to explode at the slightest spark. They will get angry, frustrated, and lose control completely. This is because they've been suppressing everything inside. After the explosion, they feel sad, miserable, and regretful, and then repeat this process. Therefore, we need to understand that truly being positive means feeling the pain. As the book The Miracle of Mindfulness suggests, when you accidentally cut your hand, you can say to yourself, so this is the feeling of pain. Directly experiencing the pain allows you to change your perspective. When you are facing any pain or discomfort, you will know that you are not someone overwhelmed by dark clouds, nor someone being tossed by the waves of the ocean. You are the sky, you are the ocean. If you are the sky when the dark clouds appear, isn't that just normal? And if you are the ocean when the fierce waves come, it is just natural. When you truly experience your own suffering, you will be able to accept your suffering and mistakes as something completely normal, something you don't need to avoid or fear. By simply feeling the pain, it becomes the solid foundation for everything. Your being will become the sky, the ocean, instead of being someone pushed by painful emotions. You will realize that emotions are just a part of you. If you see emotions as a monster outside of yourself fighting against you, you will feel very small in front of it and might get suffocated by it without realizing it. But if you see it as a part of you, as part of the ocean and sky that is you, then all the suffering here is just normal experiences. The author has written a beautiful passage like this. The positive attitude is holding your pain, just as your hand holds a fragile flower. Embrace your pain as you would embrace a crying child. Sit next to your pain as you would sit by a seriously ill person. Gaze at your pain as you would admire a beautiful painting. Keep walking with your pain as you would walk forward while holding a crying child. Respect your pain as you would respect a friend and listen to their thoughts. Breathe deeply into your pain as you would take a deep breath. Give up the fight with your pain as a soldier drops their gun and returns home. Feel your pain as you would drink a glass of pure water. Hold your pain as you would keep a photograph in your wallet. A positive attitude is not about resisting your pain, ignoring your pain, forgetting your pain, being overwhelmed by your pain, doing what your pain says or not doing what it says, or believing in your pain or not believing in it. As long as you follow your mind, you will start wanting to control and resist. Just think about it. If you hold a child too tightly, or grip a fragile flower too tightly, what will happen? You cannot be too forceful, nor can you be too relaxed. The best way is to acknowledge that pain exists, accept it, and walk with it. And this is true active acceptance. Next, in acceptance and commitment therapy, another important step is to stop cognitive fusion. What is cognitive fusion? It is the merging of words with emotions. Humans attach certain meanings to words. Therefore, when perceiving, we can treat things that haven't happened as if they already have. A simple example. Do you find your own saliva disgusting? Probably not, because you swallow your saliva throughout the day without thinking twice. But now, imagine spitting into a cup and then drinking it. How disgusting would that be? However, for dogs, this is not an issue. If they see a cup of saliva, they will drink it without hesitation, because saliva is colorless, odorless, and has no disgusting properties. When it mixes with water, it is just like water, drinkable and harmless. But because we have merged our perceptions, we find it disgusting and impossible to drink. Why are thoughts so hard to change? Because throughout our lives, we have relied on thoughts and language to solve external problems. As a result, thinking has become a trusted tool in our minds. But when we place too much trust in our thoughts, internal problems arise. When something hasn't happened yet, we can already feel fear. We get sick and start fearing cancer. We face exams and worry to the point of insomnia. We still have energy and resources, yet we worry we won't have enough money for the future. Once this thought arises, negative feelings begin to spread, and gradually they take over. Therefore, stop cognitive fusion. We need to learn how to separate perception. Separating perception means separating your thoughts from the objects they refer to. The first important method to separate perception is to observe your thoughts instead of looking at the world through them. Here, the author suggests, imagine you are in distress, feeling upset, and say to yourself, I'm thinking that I'm upset. I know that I am thinking this way, but the one who is aware of this is not upset. The phrase, I feel upset, is just a thought generated by my mind, but now I can observe it. I can see that I am having this thought. That's all. This is observing your thoughts to detach from cognitive fusion. Additionally, the author lists some very effective methods that you can practice, such as the camera on the wall technique. Imagine you are looking at your suffering life through a camera, seeing yourself tangled in your inner turmoil. When arguing with your partner, you feel enraged by their unreasonable accusations. Don't rush into anger. Imagine you are the camera on the wall. From this perspective, you will see that the girl is frustrated. She wants her partner to understand her. Deep down, she loves him, so there is no need to respond with attacking words. If you were a movie viewer, you would see this as a normal scene, nothing extraordinary. From the perspective of the observer, you will understand that arguing with harsh words only hurts yourself and the other person. But when you are drawn into the scene and merge yourself with the character, suffering will take control of you. Another more meditative method is to let the river carry it away. Imagine you write your negative thoughts on a leaf. For example, writing, "I'm hurt, I'm anxious." Then you let the leaf float on a river. Watch the leaf drift farther and farther away. Slowly, your painful thoughts will detach from you. Or one method I find very useful is to repeatedly name something. For example, try saying "bread" out loud over and over again. You will notice that the word bread no longer makes you think of the delicious food made from flour, crispy on the outside and soft on the inside, something edible. Now, it is just a strange sound being made. For negative emotions, you can use this method. Another way to separate perception is to describe your emotions. Describing emotions means talking about your pain without bringing any judgment from personal experience. Instead, try to imagine the sadness inside you has a shape, a color, and a texture. For example, a person is furious because they didn't achieve the professional title they desired. The professor asks them, "What shape does that anger take?" They say, "It's a square, red in color." The professor continues, "What's the temperature of that anger? Is it heavy?" They answer, "It's evaporating and fairly heavy." The professor tells them, "Place that anger somewhere, anywhere you like." After a moment, the professor asks, "Has it changed now?" The person replies, "The color seems to have faded. It's no longer evaporating. It's lighter, and I could hold it in my hand." This is the process of self-healing by describing emotions. When you no longer fuse with the pain, but instead separate it, visualize it, and see it, you will realize that sadness isn't that overwhelming. It might just be a black block, no longer a dark load hanging over your head, suffocating you. You just need to describe your pain, fear, anxiety, anger, pressure, and even your despair in terms of size, color, weight, and temperature. Just describing is enough. Don't force it to shrink. After you've described it, it will gradually become smaller and fade. Even if it doesn't shrink and grows larger, just let it. Keep observing it, remembering that it is something outside of you, detached from yourself. Additionally, the author encourages us to practice mindfulness. We have talked a lot about mindfulness in many books, including Walking in Silence. I've noticed that many people say they enjoy listening to books while jogging. But when I jog, I don't listen to music or books because it interferes with maintaining mindfulness. When jogging, I focus only on feeling the breath, merging with each step. At this point, you will easily achieve the flow state. You won't treat jogging as something to cover up with music or multitask to save time, but instead, make it a process of enjoyment. Once you've learned to accept your pain positively, separate yourself from perception. The final step in this therapy is commitment to action. Act. Therapy doesn't stop at detaching yourself from thoughts. It also urges you to take action to change your life. How to change your life? First, you need to clarify what living a meaningful life means. The author says that values are not goals, they are not emotions, they are not results, they are not smooth sailing, and they are not the future. Values are about choosing a direction and making choices. What's important is knowing how to make choices in your life. You need to understand one principle. Supreme values are always perfect. What does this mean? It means that real values are not about achieving something, reaping great accomplishments, having things, or influencing others. The real value lies in what you choose. But how should you choose correctly? It is a choice where you can set aside fear, pain, and anxiety. You are not driven by emotions, not using thoughts to evaluate, predict, or compare. Instead, you return to your observing self. The pure self has nothing to do with appearance, success, or failure, wealth, education, or career. With that pure self, you will continue to observe and question yourself in many aspects. How do I want to experience my direction? For example, how do you want to be as a father, a mother? How do you want your body to be? What do you want to contribute to society? This is your true perfect value, a value that helps you follow your path and progress on it. The author suggests that you try writing your own eulogy if you have passed away. How would the words in your eulogy be written? If you think the writing is too long, write one simple sentence about the person who has passed. These reflections will help you discover where you truly want to go and what kind of life you truly want to live. Once everything is clearly laid out, you can move on to committing to action. However, persevering in action will surely face obstacles, because many people may enter into a commitment to act, but after a while, they break the commitment and give up. But remember, breaking a commitment is not something too terrible. Don't blame yourself and don't avoid your failed self. Keep trying. When you don't succeed, learn to forgive yourself. Only when you love yourself can you have the motivation to change. If a commitment is broken, allow yourself to return like a child learning to walk. Every time you make a mistake, try again. The author suggests a complementary method called breaking the mold, meaning doing things that you previously felt embarrassed about. For example, when going to work, you wear a strange hat, but don't worry about what others think, just continue with your work. This is breaking the mold. If something makes you feel ashamed, try doing it. When you gather enough courage to step out and break the familiar mold you've been stuck in for so long, you will find more courage to commit to action, break the commitment, and then commit again. This is the way to embark on an exciting life journey. Separate yourself from the mind, face, and positively accept pain and integrate into life. From there, you will experience a meaningful life with ease and happiness. This is today's sharing through this meaningful book. I created more content on this topic because I see that many people are still struggling alone with their suffering, loneliness, and pressures in life. It's time to escape the mind and merge into the life in front of you. Now there's a fork in the road. The left path is control and avoidance. The right path is acceptance and commitment. If you choose control and avoidance, it means you are choosing a life full of hardship and rigidity. If you choose acceptance and commitment, it means you are choosing a path with vitality, value, and flexibility. Which path you choose is up to you. But I believe that you can resonate with me on one thing. Life is full of choices. But what we choose here is not how to eliminate suffering, but how to coexist with it and live a truly meaningful life. One day soon I'll be very happy to hear you say to me, "I've seen my pain, and now I can put it in my pocket, gently carry it with me and move forward to the place where I can choose the real values that resonate with me." Finally, thank you for listening. If you find this video useful, please share it with those who need it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to watch the latest videos every week. Once again, thank you all.